The sweat presented by DraftKings is back, and so are the Bruins, Blues, Lightning, and the Kings, all coming away with big wins on Sunday on Mother's Day, tying their respective series at 2. Let's get into it with DraftKings contributor Geoff Ulrich. Dude, which team tying the series yesterday are you most confident in saying has the edge the rest of the way?
Oh boy, I kind of want to go with the Bruins here. Maybe I'll be the DraftKings homer and make everyone at the headquarters happy. But Antti Ranta obviously starting for Carolina, it just gives me a little bit of pause. And Frederik Andersen doesn't look like he's going to be due back anytime soon. I just think that's a really big factor here. I know Carolina is really tough at home, but when you give Carolina needed to split that series, when you give a team with Patrice Bergeron, Marchand, and Pasternak some life like that, and then you throw in the fact they know that the starting goalie isn't there, I just do not like this setup for Carolina going forward. Losing 2 in a row, the momentum's shifted. I know it's the dreaded M word, but I think Boston are the teams I'm the most confident. I'm also pretty confident in the Lightning, though. I'd like the Lightning to start. Again, you give a veteran team like that some confidence, you show a little blood in the water, they're probably going to take advantage. So I think those other two series a lot closer. I still like Edmonton. I think Minnesota, St. Louis goes 7, but Boston and Tampa Bay right now, with wins yesterday, I'm pretty confident in those two teams going forward.
Yeah, and I know it's dangerous to say no Charlie McAvoy, no problem for the Bruins with their top D-man who was out, but it may be smarter to say guys like Brad Marchand, Patrice Bergeron, those other Bruin stars can just figure out a way to solve Boston's problems.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think that's why Carolina needed to get a win in Boston, right? And not have the series tied 2-2. You just don't want to give those veterans confidence. I think, a team that's been there before, players that have been there before, they know that, once the series is tied 2-2 going back, now it's a 3-game. Now that we just got to concentrate for 3 games, and the pressure is just ramped up on the team that's given 2 games away. So yeah, every team's got injury issues. I mentioned Carolina net, Boston on the back end, but as long as those top lines are rolling and getting confidence for Boston, it's going to be a tough out for them. For Carolina, I should say.
Yeah, Jess, something else I wanted to ask you about. It was a stat I saw floating around on Twitter this morning. 28 games have taken place so far in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Only 9 of them have been decided by 2 goals or fewer. And of those 9, just 4 of them have been 1-goal decisions. These are wild, just haymakers getting thrown around in round 1. These aren't very close games. Is that surprising to you, just how basically most of the time the winner in the first round has just been blowing out their opponent?
Yeah, and it's kind of a trend we're seeing across sports. If you remember back to the football playoffs, the round 1, the wild card games, they were kind of all blowouts as well. And maybe it's just a little less parity in professional sports right now. But I also think that with the way the NHL is going, higher scoring season, we just saw the Florida Panthers put up a historic pace for most of the regular season. I think it's just carrying over to the first round. You will definitely, in my opinion at least, you will definitely see it start to tighten up into the second round. You're going to see closer matchups as well. The more elite teams only surviving, obviously. So I think I'm not actually that shocked at it, because generally we see this scoring tighten up at the end of the year. We really didn't see that, and it still hasn't really tightened up. I think you will see that, but it'll be closer towards the Stanley Cup Finals.
All right, dude. So let's see here. We got 4 games tonight. Colorado could close it out against Nashville. They lead that series 3-0. Who is your top center in DFS?
Yeah, I think going to Florida tonight is absolutely fine for DFS. They have the highest implied team total on the board, or if they're not highest, it's very close with Colorado. But Alex Barkov, nonetheless, 7,300. He's basically $2,000 less than Nathan McKinnon. This is just, Florida, I'm not sure if they're going to win this series, to be honest. We've seen this with number 1 seeds time and time again. They get hot during the regular season, and their shooters just cool off in the playoffs. And Washington is another one of those veteran teams that just has confidence right now. So regardless of that, though, the Washington goalie, Samsonov, definitely has a bad game or 2 in him here. And I think Florida responds offensively tonight. They're also a team who has a lot of depth offensively. So somebody likely on Florida is going to get hot. I don't mind leading with Alec Barkov at all at 7,300. You can even pair him with Huberdeau. Again, he hasn't played poorly, and this is just kind of a statement spot for them. If they want this series to be closer, they want to make a move in this series, it's got to be tonight. So I think you lead with Barkov here. And also the trends with Washington and Florida. We're talking about overs hitting and goals. The last 5 times these two teams have met in Washington, the total's gone over. So, with Florida still minus 175 favorites, go with the big center on Florida with Barkov.
All right, we got over in the wings and things department. Looking at it now, 3 dudes are going to cost you at least $7,000. You going that high up?
No, I think, again, like you can pay up. I mean, you could maybe even try starting a lineup tonight with Barkov and McKinnon because there are a ton of good value wingers. And one of the good value wingers is Nathan McKinnon's winger in Valerie Nichushkin. What a great reclamation project this guy has been for the Colorado Avalanche. 5,100 tonight. He's averaged 4.7 shots on goal in the first 3 games of these playoffs. But he's just a really good player. He's good on special teams. They've moved him up and down the lineup this year, Nichushkin, and he's been productive everywhere. So it's just like another weapon for the Colorado Avalanche now that he's gelling with Nathan McKinnon. 5,100, a guy who excels on special teams against the Predators team who's just happy to be here. That's great value. I also like Artemi Panarin, 5,600. Again, Louis Domingue and net, or Louis Domingue and net for tonight for the Tampa Bay, or excuse me, not the Tampa Bay Lightning, for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He did used to be on the Tampa Bay Lightning, so give myself that. But you gotta attack the Pittsburgh goalie here. Panarin only 5,600. I do like the Rangers offense, and I think Panarin, at the very least, way too cheap.
All right, what about another value play?
Yeah, I like going. I don't really mind the Stars players tonight. I do kind of like them. We'll talk to them when we get the bets. But Miro Heiskanen on the back end is really good value for me, 4,200. He's going to play a ton, and he should. He's maybe one of the best defensemen in this series. And at 4,200, you're going to get a ton of ice time from him. He blocks shots. He'll play a little bit of special teams. Miro Heiskanen at 4,200 is a really good value. Also like Evan Rodriguez at 3,300. He's hit the shots on goal bonus now in 3 of the last 4 games. And then Ryan Strome, again, I do not mind attacking the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight just because of their goaltending situation. Ryan Strome at 4,300. He's been busy. He's going to play a ton. I'm not sure about the Rangers long-term in that series either. I'd probably rather take the Penguins right now. But for tonight, really don't mind attacking the Penguins in DFS. Strome, 4,300, good value too.
All right, slid proof pick for hockey before we go to golf here, dude. Your favorite NHL bet on the DK Sportsbook. You just kind of teased something about the Stars.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Dallas here. I mean, I plus 140 on the money line at home. I get it. We're not quite getting the good numbers that we've been getting on this team, when they were like plus 200 to win. But, Calgary was a dominant regular season team. They beat up on the weaker teams in the Western Conference a lot. They were really consistent. But you look after that first line, their shooters have gone cold. And a lot of their shooters were shooting at well above career rates during the regular season. Dallas has a good defensive system. They've got better special teams, in my opinion, especially their power play than Calgary. I think the Stars keep it rolling tonight. I think Calgary is in deep trouble in this series. Keep betting the Stars as underdogs, even if they lose tonight. I like them at plus 140 here. Also like the Panthers at minus 175. We'll parlay those together for our money line picks tonight. I think the Panthers at minus 175 bounce back and at least tie the series up at 2-2.